Hey there, this is LaQuita with QuitaBugHandmaids.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for another Stampin' Up! Tutorial. So today I am going to share with you how to create this gorgeous card featuring the new Jar of Flowers stamp set from the 2021 annual catalog by Stampin' Up! So let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. So for today's card, I used the new Jar of Flowers stamp set. I'm so excited. I love this stamp set, and I just wanted you to know that this stamp set is available in my online store as a bundle, which means you can get the stamp set and the coordinating jar punch as a bundle, and when you get the bundle you save 10%, so it's a really great value. And I'm going to go ahead and link to the bundle in the video description, and then also over on today's blog post, just so if you want to go ahead and add the bundle to your order, your next order, you can do that. So all right, so we're going to go ahead and get started, jump right in with our stamping. And then for a little cushion, I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus foam mat here, since we are going to be doing stamping using photopolymer stamps. We're also going to be coloring with our Stampin' blends, so when you're using the blends, you want to use the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, so I've got that. So for this piece of Whisper White, I have cut that at 3 inches by 4 inches, and I do have the measurements for this project over on today's blog post, linked down below. So I'm going to start first by stamping, there we go, my jar here. Stamp that down. Ooh, that looks good. Then I'm gonna come in with my stems, and I'm going to stamp those inside of my jar. Okay, then I am going to come in with my flower image. So you've got lots of different flower images in this stamp set to choose from, so you can choose whichever one you like. I just went with this really large one. I thought it was nice. Oh, I just want to make sure I got this really well before I stamp down. So I'm just bringing the ink to the stamp. Alrighty. Hopefully I don't get my head in the camera. Okay, just give that a good press. And then once you get everything stamped down, just give this a second to dry. You could even hit it with your heat tool. You want the ink to be really nice and dry before you start coloring with your blends. Oh, perfect. It looks so good. All right, so let me close this up. So I'm just gonna set this to the side, and I'm gonna bring in this little piece of Calypso Coral cardstock. This is cut at 3/4 of an inch by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So the Jar of Flowers stamp set doesn't come with any sentiments. You've just got all of these great images. So I chose a sentiment from the Under My Umbrella stamp set, and we're going to be stamping this Hello Sunshine. And I'm gonna stamp that sentiment in my Whisper White craft ink. Hopefully I don't need to re-ink this. We will see in just a second. But I want to go ahead and stamp this so that the sentiment has some time to dry as well, because this ink needs time to dry also. So I'm just going to put my Hello Sunshine. And I chose this sentiment because I didn't really know what I want to use this card for, so I thought, let me choose kind of a generic sentiment that I could write any message inside. I could put a birthday message, I could put a thank you message, I could put a get well, I could write anything inside of this card with this sentiment. So that's why I chose that one. Something nice, and I said generic, but I guess I should say neutral, not necessarily generic. So yeah, that's why I chose that. So I'm gonna leave my foam mat behind my stamped image, because when you're using your blends, it is going to bleed. So depending on what your work surface looks like, you want something behind your stamped image so that you don't get the bleeding of your blends onto your work surface. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this foam mat behind it, and I'm going to be coloring in this image using both shades of Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, and Old Olive. So let's start coloring. So I'm gonna start with my Calypso Coral. I'm going to start with the dark shade, and I'm going to use this little nub end and just go in and color these little berries. And then I'm just going to put a little line of the dark right down these images. And then I will go in with the light shade. Just color right over that. I'm actually going to just go right back down it one more time with the dark shade. Okay, that looks good. Then for these two flowers, I'm gonna do these in the Daffodil Delight. So I'm just coming in with my dark shade first, kind of coloring in some of these lines. Then I'll go in with the light shade, blend it all out. And then lastly, I'm going to do my leaves. So I'm just taking the dark shade of Old Olive and just tracing down the black line in the center of each leaf. And then I will come in with the light shade and just kind of go over that. So now we can start putting this card together. So for my card base, I've got a piece of Whisper White Thick. This is cut 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and I have scored it at 5 1/2 inches. Then I have got a piece of designer paper from the Ornate Garden Designer Series paper. I love this print here, so pretty. So you've got mint macaron in the background, and then you've got gold foiling on top. It's just gorgeous. Then you've got this side on the back, but I loved this side. So I'm just gonna adhere this to the front. I want it to cover the entire card base. Okay, so I'm gonna use liquid glue. If I can pick it up. Liquid glue to adhere this layer on. And I'm using the liquid glue just because it makes it easier to move this around and make sure that it's nice and lined up on the card front. Just put it down and then make sure I get it lined up really well. Then I'm gonna take my stamped layer and I'm just gonna adhere it onto this piece of gold foil. So this is cut 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So I'll just adhere it flat. Then we'll put dimensionals on the back of this layer. And then dimensionals on the back of our sentiment. Okay, so we'll just pop this in the center of our card. I think right about there looks good. And this card was actually my May team make and take. So this is the card that we made at our May team meeting, and a few of my 5 of my team members will receive this as a giveaway. They'll receive a card kit to make this card. So I'm going to put the sentiment down, like I said, with dimensionals, and I'm going to have the edge of the Calypso Coral just kind of hang over the edge of the gold foil just a tiny bit. So let's see. I think I'll put it, let me see if that's how I want it. I could even move it a little bit more over, but I think that looks good. And then to finish this card, I'm going to bring in some of the gorgeous Gilded Gems. I love these, you guys. They are just so, so pretty. So hopefully you can see them really well. They are so pretty. Ah, I love them. So I'm just going to put a few of these on. So let's see. I'm going to use the smallest ones. And we'll just put one there. Do one right there, and then one right there. And then to finish the card up, I also went ahead and stamped that same image in Daffodil Delight onto my envelope. And there you have it, you guys. Isn't it a gorgeous card with a neutral sentiment so that you can really make this card for any occasion that you would like? I just love it. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's tutorial. Don't forget that you can find the full list of supplies down low in the video description with clickable links so that you can add them to your order today. You can also find all of the measurements and supplies over on today's coordinating blog post, which is linked down below as well. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed. Thank you again for joining me today, and I'll be back again very soon with another tutorial. Bye now.